Hey guys, this is a video tutorial to help you convert PDFs into JPEGs. What we're also going to do is we're going to import those JPEGs into Photoshop in one document. I'm sure there's some of you out there who have tried to import multiple JPEGs into one document without doing it manually. There's a way of doing it, and we're going to be using Adobe Bridge. But first things first, let's convert our PDFs into JPEGs. So first thing you want to do is you want to go to Google, and you want to search for the website that can convert it for you. So it's as easy as just typing in PDF to JPEG. And I've used a few of them. I found that this one here is the better one. It can output better quality JPEGs from the PDFs. This one's not bad. I think this is the one that actually emails it to you, so it's kind of got an extra step. So I prefer to use this one. So you click on this, and all you want to do is you want to scroll down here and choose a PDF file, and you'll open up, and you're going to want to find your PDF file. So let's see. We're going to be using this PDF here. I'm not even sure how many pages there are. There's definitely going to be more than 5. And once you've selected that, all you want to do is go over here and you want to choose your quality. I usually choose excellent to get the highest resolution. Of course, it's going to make a bigger file size, but when it comes to PDFs, it's not going to be too bad. And once you're done, and all you have to do is just hit Convert PDF to JPEG. And it'll do its thing. And here you can actually download them all individually, but I find that kind of pointless. So all you can do is you can just download here in a zip file. So it'll download this for you. You can choose to save it to your desktop, or you can just choose to open it and just move the files yourself. I like to do it this way, so it just saves the zip in a temp and it deletes it later. I mean, you don't want a bunch of files just sitting around. So, but I'm going to be moving these to a nice location where I'm going to be able to remember to put them later. So I've opened up my folder here, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag and drop in here. Pretty basic stuff. Select them all and drag and drop. And there you go. So now they're all in there. With there's our original PDF, and here are all of our JPEGs. So now we want to figure out how to get these into Photoshop without doing it manually. Easiest way to do that is to use Adobe Bridge. I believe that's what it's called. So there's a bunch of different ways you can find it. You can open it within Photoshop, or you can open it externally. So I'm going to open it externally, and we'll do it that way. So Adobe Bridge, and there it is there. So the BR. Alright, so once you've got Adobe Bridge open, you can search for your folder. So you got a bunch of different ways you can get to it, but I'm going to be using it this way. So search for it in my documents exactly where I put it. 1300 integration by parts, and here we go. We've got our JPEGs here that we've created. Here's our PDF. We don't want to import our PDF because that's going to do us no good. It's going to create more trouble than anything else. So what we want to do is we want to select the first one, hold down Shift, and then select the last one, and they're all selected. Once they're all selected, you want to hit Tools, you want to scroll down to Photoshop, and you want to load files into Photoshop layers. Now I want to note that Photoshop is not open right now, and what's going to happen is as soon as I hit this button, it's going to automatically open up Photoshop, and it's going to automatically put all of these JPEGs into one file in multiple layers. So here's the magic. And there you go. So they're all in here. Now, of course, they're all layered on top of each other, and I'm not aware of a way of getting it so that they're placed all of it on top of each other. So this is where it takes a little bit of manual labor. The easiest way, if you want to layer them exactly how it looks like in a PDF document, easiest way to do that in here is to go Image, Canvas Size, and then you want to increase the height of your document. So what I did here is I have this little device that tells me where I'm going to be extending the page. So when I click up, this space down here is telling me that I'm going to be adding my pages to this space underneath. How do I know how much height to put? Well, it comes down to how many pages we have, and we're going to be multiplying it by, I guess we're going to switch this to inches because this is a normal 8.5 by 11. We know that one page is 11 inches, so some simple math is going to give us 11 times the number that we have here. So let's count here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So you're going to want to do 11 times 13, and this is pretty embarrassing, but there you go, 143. So by increasing this by 143, we're going to get the ample space to put all of these one after another. Now, I have a feeling, yes, Photoshop says that if you do documents height about 143, you're not going to be able to open this into Paint if you're trying to use this document into Paint. So we're not going to continue because that's going to be inefficient. That's not what we're looking for. But what I'll show you is, usually Paint takes about 100 or 90. So let's see. If the message doesn't come up, then we're going to be able to use it in Paint. Yes, so we're good. So by 100, we should be able to get about 10 sheets in here. Come to think of it, it's probably smarter to just split this up into two so that you have two separate documents. So we're going to do, maybe one's going to be 6 and the other one's going to be 7. So let's try that. I'm going to undo this. Let's try this again. So canvas size, change this to inches, and we're going to say, we're going to split the 13 in half. So we're going to do 7 in one of them and 6 in the other. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's going to be 77. There you go. All right. So now we can start moving these. So it's super easy. What you want to do is you want to try to, because they're all underneath this one page here, right? If you take that one off, then there it is. That's the one underneath it. And they're all numbered exactly how they should be. So what you want to do is you want to select all the ones underneath it, and you want to move them so that the top of the page touches the bottom of the page, just like that. Now I'm holding Shift to move this, because if I don't hold Shift, then it's going to go all over the place, and you don't want that. So when you move it down, you want to hold Shift, and you want to drag it down, just like that, and it will snap. Depending on your settings, I think there's a certain setting in Photoshop that if you turn it on, it'll snap to it. I think it's under View. Yeah, Snap. So you have to have Snap for this to work. So that's how you do that one. If you want to see what you're doing a little bit better, you can go View, and you can go Fit on Screen, and you'll see the entire size of your document. And then this way you can see what you're doing. So now that you've dragged all of those down, now they're all underneath this piece here. So now you're going to select the next one down, and you're going to do the same thing again and again. So there you go. That's that one. And then we're going to do the same thing again. That's that one. Until we run out of space. So that's our max right now. That's how many we can get in here. And we might decide to take one less, but I have a feeling we're going to leave it like this. So now what we want to do, if we go to actual pixels, so that's view, actual pixels, we can zoom right up. So this is the resolution that we're getting. Pretty nice for converting it to JPEG. So what we want to do now is we want to create some lines in between our pages, because right now it looks like it's just one really long page. So how we can do that is we can go back to this selection, and we're going to start off at the top. I'm going to zoom out a little bit just so we can see what we're doing. That works a lot better like that. Now what we want to do is we want to create a gap in between these pages. The best way to see what we're doing, first and foremost, we're going to create a background image for this, and we're going to make it black so that we can get that nice crisp line in between each page. So all we have to do is we have to create a new layer, which is just down here. There we go. And we want this layer to be all the way on the bottom. Now that we've had our layer on the bottom, we want to choose a black. So you can come over here, a black. And we want to use the paint bucket tool over here, or the shortcut key is G. And all you want to do is you want to fill in that black. Now you can't see it just yet, but you'll see that now, it's obviously turned black. It was clear before, now it's black. And once we start moving our pages, you're going to start to notice the black line in between each page. So usually you can use the arrow keys to move them down if you want to be extremely specific, or you can move it manually. I like to use the arrow keys so I know how many units I'm moving it, so I can keep each page to be the same distance apart. So I'm going to use maybe 1, 2 might be good. Let's zoom in to take a look how that feels, compared to a photo or a PDF document. I'm not sure how many units. You could do 3 or 4. It's not going to make that much of a difference. So we're going to go back to our view, and that's that one. So that's that page there. So we've created a nice separation between these pages, and we're going to want to continue doing that with the other pages as well. So we're going to do the same thing. We select the next one down, all of them. Don't select your layer. You don't need to move that bottom layer. That one's always going to stay there. You can lock it if you want, if you're worried about moving it when you're selecting these things. So again, I'm going to move it 1, 2. Now the issue with using the arrow keys is it changes depending on how close you are. So notice I only clicked down twice, and it moved. It seemed the same distance as 4 zoomed in. So when you're doing this, you want to keep the same level of distance when doing this. So I'm not going to change my zoom. So I'm going to do this again. I'm going to move the next ones down. I'm going to hit 2 times because 2 seems to be the number, and keep repeating this process until we're happy, until we've done all the pages. I know it seems like a bit of a long process, but it goes way faster when you're not explaining stuff. So here we've reached the bottom. So that means that we want these pages to be in a separate document. So we got our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we have the remaining 6 that we need to transport to another document. So what we can do is we could just easily duplicate them and bring them into another document. I'm not going to bring my black layer because it's going to be a different size from our document. Although it probably won't make a difference. So yeah, you know what? I'll bring it. I'll bring it in. So let's go. I'm right-clicking on the ones that I've selected. I'm going duplicate layer, and it's selected well, we want to bring it into a new document. So we'll click new. We can name it if we want, but I don't really care. I can always name it later anyways. So when I hit OK, now we're in a new document. Of course, that's at the bottom because compared to here, we've got the height of this document, and of course it's taking the size of our black background, but not a big deal. We can always crop it later. So what we want to do is we want to bring this back up to the top and work our way down just like we did the last time. And notice here it snaps. So I'm not too worried about going outside the bounds because it does snap. And we can do the same thing as we did before. So just zoom in a little bit and we'll work our way down like this. We'll snap like that. This will snap again. Scroll down until we're almost done. And these last two. That one didn't look like a snap. I'm confused. Did it snap? Maybe it's just, it doesn't matter. We can fix that later. Yeah, it didn't look like it snapped all the way. That's alright. I'll probably, oh. It's just a display issue. Oh, that's weird. A little tricky. Photoshop can be tricky sometimes. So before I go ahead and crop this, I'm gonna move these ones down, and I'm going to create my spaces. So I'm going to use 2 spaces for each. Select the next set, 2 spaces for each. Scroll down, select the next set, 2 spaces for each. Okay, that one's displaying weird. Oh, is this page super long or something? Oh, that's weird. And the last 2 pages, still 2 spaces each, using the arrow key. So now we can crop this bottom. So it's just as easy as hitting the crop key over here. Its shortcut is C. And what you want to do is you just want to bring this up to the bottom. And there you go. You hit enter, and it's cropped it. We can view it by hitting view and then going to fit on screen. And there you go. So now we've created what looks like to be a PDF document, but it can now be exported as a JPEG, and you can import these into Paint and you can draw on them, which is something you would not be able to do in PDF format. So if we want to save these out, you can, usually it's always good practice to save the Photoshop file first and then save your JPEG or whatever image you want to export it as. So we're going to switch this to Photoshop. So we're going to create our Photoshop file first. Just in case you want to make changes later, it's always better to save your Photoshop file. We're going to call it integration by parts. What was that, page 127? 127. And now we can go ahead and save it as a JPEG. So we want to pick this down here, and then you have all your different file types down here. JPEG is the one that you want to use. It compresses it pretty well too, and you'll notice that it also kept the name convention that we gave it when we created our Photoshop file. So that's always nice, because if you do it the other way around, then you usually have to retype it. So it's always good practice to create your Photoshop file first. And you'll see it saving down there. And then finally, this page is the last page, and we want to do the same thing. So we want to go integration by parts. It was page 8 to 13, I believe. So it's our Photoshop file. And now we want to create our JPEG. So again, we got to drag this down and we have to pick JPEG. There's another one called JPEG 2000 and JPEG Stereo. I don't bother. This is the one that I usually use. I have not run into any problems yet. So there's our naming convention again. And we go save and OK. and it'll output our JPEGs. So if we open it up, here they are here. So 1 to 7, 8 to 13. And if we want, we can open this in Paint. And you'll see, here you go. You could draw on it. It didn't have any problem opening it. Look at that. Amazing. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, and if you have any comments or questions, just feel free to type them in the comment section below, and I hope this helped out. All right.